Hello, and welcome back to a brand new, exciting episode of Video Ditch. It's Sam, Nick, and Jake, and today we're joined by special guest Austin, developer of Bobo Bay, here to talk about his current project and the road that led him to this point. So, Austin, thank you for coming on.
Of course, I'm excited.
Yeah. And I know there's a bit of a time difference, so we'll try and keep this relatively succinct. But how are y'all doing right now? How are y'all doing?
I'm doing good. It's a pretty long day, but I'm okay now.
Okay. Well, you boys, how you doing?
Heart's beating a mile a minute, can hardly even stay in the sheet. I'm gonna explode out of my skin.
Good.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell of a Thursday. Thursday evening. But yeah.
Perfect. Well, yes, we're Video Ditch. We're a podcast about video games. And yeah, I guess getting right into it, Austin, your history as a gamer. What was the seed? Where was the start of that?
I think the first game I ever played was Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, that was just like my brother got one for Christmas. I think that was the first one I played. And then I think shortly after that was probably Roller Coaster Tycoon on the PC.
Okay.
Very nice.
Oh, yeah.
After that, I don't really remember like the next one, but those are definitely the first two ever.
Nice. Formative Mario.
I still love them too.
Yeah,
Oh,
Tycoon games are always excellent.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love in
Tycoon's
3. You
forever.
can make them careen into all the visitors. That was always
yeah.
my favorite.
Oh yeah.
What consoles did you have growing up aside from the Super Nintendo? After that, was there anything introduced?
Yeah, where do
Definitely.
you lie on the console war?
Yeah, we were mostly PlayStation. I mean, after that was PlayStation 1. We had all of them. I don't have PS5. I don't really want one.
Fair enough.
There's
Yeah.
nothing on it right now for me.
Mhm.
But yeah, PlayStation 1, Super Nintendo was the biggest. And then I got all the handhelds. I remember DS, PSP when they first came out. I was pretty big into those. That's probably the most time I've spent was the original DS. I
Okay,
would have to say.
right on. What are your standout titles on that platform?
Animal Crossing. I'm trying to think of what I spend the most time. I loved Nintendogs, which is funny.
Hell yeah, okay.
Oh,
Makes
yeah.
sense, yeah.
Yeah, there's a
Um,
through line here I'm starting to sense.
Yeah.
I liked. Oh, there was a Mario 3-on-3 basketball game. That was fun.
Oh yeah, was that the one with like random Final Fantasy characters?
I think so.
Yeah, like the
Guest
White
stars.
Mage.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, I know that one.
It was fun. I love that game.
On the DS, wow.
Yeah.
I
And then
didn't, yeah.
It also came with like you could put Game Boy Advance games in there, so I played a bunch of advanced games too.
Classics. Okay, right on. Kind of paints a picture. And then these days, you mentioned not being keen on the PS5. Are you playing mostly on PC these days? Or are you still like playing on handheld with the Switch?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely play the most on the PC. I have a Switch.
Mhm.
I don't play it too much.
Fair enough.
I have a Steam Deck. Just
Yeah.
some games I feel like are better just to play handheld. I've definitely played a lot more games in my library because of the Steam Deck.
Nice. Yeah.
And then yeah, I have a PS4. I mean, I play like Rocket League with like my friend. on PS.
Okay.
It's like basically a Rocket League machine just because I can play it on my couch.
Yeah.
Yeah. See. I assume most of your time, well, actually, is most of your time spent doing game dev these days, or is it something that you're devoting just free time to, or is it something you can focus on full time?
Yeah, this is something someone asked me on my Discord the other day. Like, I don't play much, to be honest, anymore.
I could imagine. Yeah.
And it's for a couple of reasons. Like one, yeah, I am using all my free time mostly to do game dev stuff, but I don't know, something I think the games I used to like, maybe I spent more time on them, and I just feel like I can't spend as much time. So it's like I prefer games that are shorter, like quick bursts. That's why I haven't played in a while, but I do like Rocket League just because I can pop in for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I follow a lot of games. I follow a bunch of indie devs and wishlist a ton of stuff on Steam, but I don't play anything.
You can't find the time. Yeah.
I do buy
understand.
them. I buy new games and I don't even download them. I know a lot of people do that, but yeah.
Yeah. Hey, happens to all of us.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're
Someday,
supporting
Shao.
supporting the
Yeah.
ecosystem though. I love that.
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool.
I
Well,
know.
yeah, kind of, I guess, just talking further about game dev. Yeah, when did the interest shift for you from playing games to wanting to develop them?
Um, I think, well, I was gonna go to college for like VFX. I was like in the prime spot age to watch like Freddie W and like Quarter Digital on YouTube.
Oh, okay,
Those
okay.
like action VFX stuff. So
Yeah.
I really wanted to do that, and I went to school for basically like a general media degree, like editing, script writing, and then possibly getting into VFX. And yeah, my honestly, I wasn't thinking about games at all
hmm
as an actual possibility until I hated film.
Oh, really? Really?
Oh, really?
I hated being on a set and the pressure that came from that. Even if it wasn't high pressure, I don't know. I just hated that
hmm
feeling of being on a set. So I just kind of pivoted. I didn't want to like drop out or like go to a different school. So I pivoted. They had a games program and I was like, maybe I should try that. And then it like kind of just snowballed from there. But like the first time I ever thought of it,
hmm
there was probably a moment. There was like maybe like the same year, or maybe it was like a year apart. But when Last of Us came out,
hmm
and for like a AAA title that like kind of inspired me to show like, oh, there's like lot of stuff that you can still do in the game space. And then also there's a indie game called Gunpoint.
Oh,
Gunpoint
yeah.
is great.
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
Gunpoint.
yeah.
It was the first like indie I followed
hmm
heavily. I still follow Tom Francis, the developer, but I
Yeah.
think it was like those two really close together that I was like, oh, they're so cool.
hmm
And I don't know, I didn't really think of the possibility of me actually doing it. I didn't like coding. I did like a coding class in high school, didn't like it. So it wasn't until later that I looked back on those and I'm like, oh, that probably changed the course of something. I don't know.
Yeah, you saw like the potential of the medium.
Yeah.
That's a great pair of games too. On one hand, you have like the most AAA experience of the time.
And I would never want to make something like that ever. I
hmm
don't. It's
But it,
not my thing to be a part of a
yeah.
big team like that.
hmm And then yeah, Gunpoint was yeah, such a tight experience. I love that
I
he
love it.
included
Yeah.
the kind of behind the scenes. It was like just included with the game where you could play an earlier build. An
Yeah, I remember
early indie game memory for me too. Yeah.
I remember just following, he had devlogs that were just, he recorded himself for 20 minutes, just
hmm
kind of going through the latest updates. And that's what I do now based on that.
Nice.
Like I just do
Yeah.
them every month. I release a devlog showing what I did the past month. And it's super like lazy. Like I don't edit it, but that's kind of what got me excited for that game. So I just kind of
hmm
do that
Yeah,
with
yeah.
mine.
There was appeal in it before, so yeah, why change that? Nice. All right. Nick, Jake, any questions right now?
When it comes to coding and stuff, you said you didn't enjoy coding. So how did you end up like getting around to teaching did you teach yourself coding for the most part?
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, I did coding high school. They got a coding class in college. And then um, we had like a games club at the school and like the seniors could like tutor freshman and sophomore. I was a sophomore at the time. So I got like a tutor for everything, like 3D art writing,
Wow.
Oh,
coding,
that's
just
nice.
like
Yeah,
I was
nice
trying to
resource
just
to have. Yeah.
yeah, I mean it was hit or miss of like how much
Well,
they do.
I suppose, yeah, depending on the individual.
It was just students doing it.
But
But
theoretically,
like
it is nice. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like the 3D art one, like that person that taught me, he's
Mhm.
doing like crazy cool stuff in LA. So like he
Right
obviously
on.
went somewhere big. But the coding, it wasn't the person's fault that tutored me. It was just I didn't like he just kind of like guided me like a tutorial, like a YouTube tutorial. And I just
Mm,
didn't like it. And then it wasn't
yeah.
until I don't know, I think I had this idea for this like phone game. Really, it's just like a skeet shooting game, like really simple. The whole gimmick was like it's a skeet shooting game, but you actually like whip your phone to like reload.
Oh, okay.
I
It's
never
kind of
actually
cool.
got to that, but
Yeah, yeah.
I just thought of this idea. I was like, maybe I should prototype it almost for an art thing because I was doing 3D art mainly. And I just had to teach myself. I just kind of looked up on Google stuff, like I was using Unity and just like, how do you shoot something and just like go from there? And that was like, I really fell in love with it very quickly when I just,
Interesting.
I don't know, just something about, I don't watch tutorials. I just can't, I don't get anything out of them. So I think something about just actively, I want to do something and I have to figure it out. That was enjoyable.
Yeah. Intuiting it,
hands-on
I'm sure.
experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Very cool.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. Like I hated coding. So I envy you for persevering.
Yeah, you mentioned
Yeah.
high school. So I do have to wonder, was the 2D more kind of like not that great, or was it kind of like how to draw manga, textbook sort of thing in terms of what they were trying to show you, or didn't re or how was that?
The 2D art tutor, it was very like the person I had was very he's great, but he did mostly like I don't know, the basics, like learning anatomy and stuff. Like you go through a textbook and do like the ball and the shading and stuff like that.
Sure, sure, yeah.
I didn't I only went for a few months with them because it just wasn't my thing. I just kind of did it just to see what was my thing. So the ones I stuck with were, I only really stuck with 3D art. I kind of did that for a full year. And then coding I was doing on my own. But yeah, I kind of ditched 2D art pretty early. And it, you do 2D art as a kid. So like I always knew I wasn't really a fan of
Certainly.
drawing.
Fair. Okay, well, we can kind of pivot into what you've currently been developing, but I am curious, before Bobo Bay, have there been any other projects that you released or put out?
Yeah, it's been a
Anything like
lot.
that?
I mean,
Okay, why
I guess
not?
I started about 9 years ago. That was
Okay,
when I
okay.
started learning
Yeah.
that stuff freshman year. And I did a big thing. It was called Gone Wandering. It's not big, but it's the biggest thing that's definitely smaller than Bobo Bay, 100%. But it was pretty big for me just being a sophomore in college. But it was a student game that me and my friend, who also like we have this business, New Future Kids, together.
Okay.
And I just say I made this. It's like you're in a boat and you catch butterflies instead of fish. It's like a fishing game, but you don't actually go into the water at all.
Okay. Right on.
Really cute and like I'm still pretty impressed with what we were able to do in like 7 months for being like brand new.
Yeah.
But for a free game that was like students made it, it got a decent amount of coverage, surprisingly.
Nice. Yeah, how cool.
Got on like PC Gamer and stuff, which was surprising.
Wow.
But since then, that was like a big thing. And then I don't know, since then, I've just been trying to find basically what I have now. I'm trying to find something that like I feel good about and like, and want to continue on and don't get burnt out on. So I've been through a lot of like for my Twitter, if you go way back, there's everything I've worked on is in there. I posted GIFs. Like I had this one project I worked on, there's like a snowboarding game called Snow Stars. It's like an SSX type thing.
Yeah.
Nice.
I worked on that for like 2.5 years and I didn't trash it. It still exists, but like I just moved on from it because I mean that one was like honestly, I look back on the code and I'm like, this is terrible and I can't add anything to it. And I didn't want to recreate it. So
yeah.
Sure.
But like, recently and when I started this game, my coding was good enough where I could actually make stuff that lasted and wasn't a pain in the ass to like have to go back and fix stuff or whatever. So yeah, I've just been finding the right thing, the right idea that kind of hits like the core things I'm looking for, which is, I don't know, it's like I want something that I like working on is one thing that's important. Because there's plenty of games I love, but I would not want to work on.
Certainly, yeah.
And it needs to hit the fact that like it needs to be unique enough for me. Like I don't want to just recreate something. Or I can, like obviously Bobo Bay is very similar to Chao Garden, but like no one else has done that before.
Yeah,
So
it's filling a niche, certainly.
yeah. And I guess like those are like the two big things that I just kind of have to find. And I guess I want to play it. If it's a
Yeah.
game that I would play
Mhm,
myself, then
mhm.
I know I should work on it.
It's a good way to evaluate the value of a project. Yeah, very cool. Okay, then yeah, with Bobo Bay for viewers or listeners that don't know what it is, how'd you pitch it?
It is a pet sim. This is a terrible elevator pitch already. I usually just copy and paste my Steam description into emails. I don't actually have to say it out loud.
For
It's
sure.
a pet sim where you basically train these little creatures to compete in like races and fighting and stuff. And yeah, you care for them, you can customize them, you can mash them together, like breeding. Um, it's just like a very, and obviously, I think if you take a look at it and you played it before, you would instantly recognize it's very similar to Chao Garden. Um, I just kind of took that and ran with, because no one else has done that, which is still wild to me. It's been like 20
Yeah, that's
years.
Yeah, not
crazy.
even
That's
Sega.
Yeah, I
Not
know,
even
right.
Sega.
right?
I
It is
remember there was
strange.
like a Game Boy port that you could play Chao Garden on like the Game Boy, but you had to have the connector or something. It wasn't a standalone. It was part of Sonic Advance, I think. And it had like, or one of the Sonic Advance, I think you could do it, but it wasn't, again, it wasn't a standalone game. It was just like the only other form of it that I had ever seen.
Yeah, it is strange. It is strange
Yeah.
that they've
Yeah.
never revisited the concept.
Yeah, it's because it's such a, I don't know, such a fun, I loved
Yeah,
it.
no, I know.
loved it growing up.
My fiance lately, I've been having to replay Sonic Adventure 2 so I can do all the boring shit, like shooting people with Eggman, and then she gets to play a Chow Garden.
Like,
I'm
did you
like,
collect all the rabbits?
But that's
Yeah.
part of the game.
Yeah, I know. She's like, get the animal. I want him to have this feature. Get this animal. I'm like, oh my God, all right, I'm going.
Mhm. Yeah, viewers, listeners, there is an alpha out right now on Steam that you could play. All three of us have spent some time with it.
Oh, cool. I know.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
before. Yeah. So, is this a solo project? You mentioned having a business partner, but is this mostly you developing?
Yeah, Alex is his name. We basically started this company to kind of, it's a little bit weird, but like we each make solo projects, and we just thought like, hey, it'd be beneficial if we just release them under the
Release them
same name,
together. Yeah.
to kind of share in fan base, and we could put more stuff out more frequently.
Mhm.
So
It
he's
is
working on
interesting.
a smaller game. He just started a new one. He kind of did the same thing. He like has been working on stuff and then he stops it and then moves on to something else. But yeah, for this one, it's mostly me. I'm working with a person that's doing the music, so the musician,
Okay, I was
and
going to ask
then
about that.
a person that kind of helps with like some of the icons, like the 2D icons. But everything
Okay.
else, yeah, is me.
Right on.
What's the hardest thing when developing it? Like, what do you find the most struggle with?
So weirdly enough, so this I actually started the project with Alex, my partner. We were doing it together,
Mhm.
and it's kind of just the start of it. And then he moved off of it. And I always said it from the beginning that like Chow Garden is easy to make, and
There's only so many components. Yeah.
it's been 2 years, and I still think that's true.
Mhm.
Okay.
People have this like idea that it's super in depth, and it is, but like it also isn't at the same time. Like it's like fake depth.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of possibilities, and that's not really
Mhm.
depth. So I always said, just if you look at the core of it, it's pretty simple. So honestly, I haven't had one moment. I'm not trying to be cocky.
Oh, no.
I haven't had one moment of like struggling coding wise
Nice.
on the game. I think there's annoyances like bugs I don't know how to
Sure.
fix, but
Sure,
like
sure.
Sure.
I've ran into past projects of like I'm just banging my head for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks on just some feature I can't get to work. But I haven't had that with
So you just
this.
haven't really hit walls yet. You've just been
Yeah.
moving.
So yeah, I mean the most frustrating part of development is probably just like the marketing.
Really
Yeah, that makes sense.
interesting. Okay.
Seems hellish out there.
It's just not what I want to do. It's not.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't do this to make TikToks and tweet.
Mhm.
Right.
I have
right.
to. So
Right. The things like metrics and shorts and videos is like not really the whole point of it. It's kind of a necessary evil at
Necessary
best.
evil.
Yeah,
Certainly.
that's
Yeah.
why I'm thankful that it's been taking off a little bit on Twitter recently. I mean, I'm up pretty like high on my follower list. So I'm not taking it as seriously anymore because I'm like, it's kind of a snowball effect now. Like more and more people are commenting in the Discord and stuff like that. So it's been easier, but for a while it was painful.
For sure, for sure. Well, I hope the upward momentum just continues.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, playing the alpha, playing the demo, there's intrigue at the start, like when you load in and the character. I don't know how much like story or lore you want to or are willing to discuss. We don't have to, but I certainly am curious with the skeleton hand.
Yeah, the skeletal
and
hand.
the
What's going on with
bandages.
that?
You
Shield
know,
ghost.
is
Yes.
story going to
Oh,
be
really?
a component of the game that's like a big focus of it, or is it going to be something that's more in the background?
Subliminal.
It's in the background. Yeah,
Nice.
she's a zombie.
Okay.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Everyone in the world is a zombie.
Oh, really?
It's post-apocalyptic, I see.
I've still stayed true to this. Like, I want to build like a sandbox game first and
Mhm.
foremost. Like, I'm not looking to build like a super linear anything. I want people to like experiment with stuff.
Yeah.
And so the story is going to be like that, where it's going to come from like world building with like the levels and stuff, the letters you get in the mail,
Hmm.
and yeah, there'll be some stuff that happens. Like there'll be holidays that happen. It's on a calendar system, so like some of the holidays kind of reveal stuff about the world. It's nothing crazy,
Okay.
but yeah, I have
Yeah.
an idea of what it is.
Yeah.
Right on. Right on.
Those of you out there listening, this is your chance. The dark lore of Bobo Bay. You'll guarantee a million views if you make a video about that. Little thumbnail with the main character with like a bleeding eye or something.
There you go,
So
yeah.
get on that.
I'm making the game strictly for those people that make those
Mhm.
videos.
Game theory aspirants, I guess, is a nice way to say it.
Keeping them employed, putting them to work. Very nice. Okay. And
Okay.
with the alpha, I saw on your Twitter that you have builds that updated builds that you release. Is the demo going to get anything like that publicly, or is that something more for those
Yeah.
within?
So the plan was basically to put out this free demo alpha thing.
Mhm.
To be honest, it kind of, I don't know if you saw the Steam update that happened last week. I don't know how big it was, like how, if anybody's. So it was big in the game dev community because Steam changed. I don't want to bore you. It just they
No
Steam
worries. Yeah.
That's what
Please.
we're all about.
they
Yeah.
changed the way demos work on Steam.
Oh, okay.
So before it was just a download, and you still can have this on your main Steam page. But about 2 weeks ago, they changed it to be it can have its own page in Steam. So if you go and look it up
Oh.
now, Bobo Bay Alpha is its own Steam page, its own
Yeah.
images and everything. And this means now basically it's a free game, and it will show up on the front page of Steam along with other games if it's new and trending,
Mhm.
which is like your big thing. Like if the big thing now is like I hate this shit. Sorry, I don't know if
Oh, hey,
I'm allowed to
it's
swear.
go
for it. Yeah, no,
More
please,
than
please,
We're,
yeah.
we're,
this
we're
way.
kind of the bad boys indie game interviewer podcast. So
I just I don't like this stuff, but I have to do it. But
Mhm.
yeah, you have to get on the new and trending. If you get that with like in the first week of your release, it like really bumps you up or whatever. It just to get a ton of sales at release.
Mhm.
And what this new demo thing is basically allows you to do that twice. You can release your demo and it acts like an actual game on Steam, like other free games that come out or paid games.
Okay.
And I released my alpha a week before that. So
Oh.
I can't I
Can't-
can't get any of those benefits.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so lame.
So it's pretty unfortunate. The whole idea was to launch it and get a bunch of people, and I did. I mean, I got a good amount of wish lists, but I could have got way more. I
Mhm.
released
Sure.
literally a week later.
Damn.
But yeah, the whole idea was basically to do this, and then yeah, I have a Patreon that a bunch of people have just told me they want to support and like fund development or whatever.
Mhm.
It's like an optional thing, and because just I wanted to pay the 2D artist and the musician.
Sure.
Certainly, yeah.
Of course.
And yeah, I do monthly dev builds. So
Nice.
It's just new updates. The demo, I'll do another demo eventually, closer to release. That just is
Sure,
like
sure,
a
yeah.
full game, but you get a month in that or whatever.
Cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the plazas like a whole town plan. And it seems like a couple of additional areas.
Yeah, there's a lot I still have to do, and it's exciting seeing people have been putting a lot of hours into the game that I did not think would happen, and there's not much content, so I'm just like, there's so much more. I'm excited
Mhm.
that people are playing it this much, and I have so much more planned. So
Yeah. I think it just speaks to the strength of the core premise, just the appeal of that,
Yeah.
is a rewarding enough loop for people to, even if it's just a small slice of it, like keep eating that
Yeah.
slice. Yeah.
And that hunger for a Chao Garden game too. It's like it's got to be kicking themselves right now.
I know.
yeah, I'm still, I know it's like leaked or something that they're making like a mobile game with Netflix.
Oh, really? Mobile Chow Garden.
Which is honestly a lot of people over the years I've looked at this and people say like if they would make so much money if and they still will probably, but I just can't imagine it being good. And
Right.
not to just I can't imagine Sega of all companies to like actually make a new game that's mobile that like
Mhm.
actually
Yeah.
scratches that itch.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm
yeah.
not too worried, but it's still a little bit of a worry of like I hope they don't do that.
Well, it seems like Bobo Bay will be the actual game, and then whatever they're working on, based on everything we know about it, will be microtransaction.
Okay,
content.
I was about to ask, is this going to be like
Yeah.
a 2.99 per chow sort of
Right,
deal?
Chow
Yeah.
slots,
Yeah.
pay 50 cents for like a fruit
I mean,
or something, that kind of thing, I assume.
That
I'm
is
not
that is
sure.
the worst outcome possible.
No, just
So-
predictions.
Yeah. It's typically the market for mobile games. So
Okay. And with development, do you have a planned release date? I can't remember if there was one listed, or you're just letting it cook and it'll be ready when it's ready sort of situation.
I mean that, but I am aiming for the end of next year.
Okay. Right
I
on.
I like planned out a full roadmap and I think it's possible. So, and I usually people always say like your prediction is always like it's like double it and add half or something to like get your actual release date. That's like the thing. But
Mhm.
weirdly enough, I feel like recently I've been pretty accurate with myself of like when I get things done. So if everything goes to plan, my roadmap goes up to like July next year. So I have like a buffer of 6 months before the end of the
Okay.
year.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah.
my goal right now.
Nice. Very nice. All right.
Yeah.
Nick.
I think you were the
Jake?
only person to ever say that. Everyone else is like, yeah, we thought it'd be done in like 6 months, but it's been like 5 years.
I don't want to work on this for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
understandable.
I'm not going to release like an unfinished game. I just that's the good thing about the Patreon is like, or you know, you can do early access. The only reason I didn't do Steam early access is because more algorithm stuff. It's just like
Mhm.
it treats that as like kind of your main release. So
Oh, okay.
I see.
that's good for some games, but
Mhm.
with mine, I just felt it was maybe smart to just do a full release someday, and that's the main one.
Yeah.
So, but with that, I get to fix bugs constantly, so I know it's going to be a finished product. And again, like people have been putting 40 plus hours into this demo,
Mhm.
and that is, I mean, I was thinking people are going to play it for like a max an hour. So I don't know. I think I'm pretty weirdly confident that it'll go well,
Yeah, yeah.
but we'll see.
Very good. Very good. I mean, I think you have every right to be feeling good about it. The game feels very good to play. Very it's a nice like low stakes, low stress sort of experience, and I think there's a lot of value in those sorts of games. I know.
Cozy genre.
Yeah, I know
Mhm.
Nick's not
That's
huge on
cozy.
it, but
You know. Well, when my beloved fiance saw it, she immediately was like, "You have to talk to this
You
guy.
need to get to
You need
this."
to get them. You need to talk to them. I need to ask them these questions. I need to know more about this." So definitely,
It's definitely for a certain kind of person.
yeah, it scratches that itch instantly. I think just on site.
Yeah. And then with this project, you felt, you say everything's on track right now. So you feel like you've had a good balance, of ambition with features, but you're able to recognize like, the scope of feasibility.
Yeah,
No,
I
no
mean,
issues there.
like I said, I guess I'm not making this game to satisfy everybody.
Hmm.
Maybe that's bad, but like,
I don't think
No,
so. No,
not a
I
passion
think
project like this.
the saying "a game for everybody is a game for nobody," I think is what
yeah.
people say. So,
What was it there? Someone from Nintendo said that of like
mhm.
something about, there's a quote of like, we know better than the players what they want or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
sounds
Which
like
is,
How
Wow,
do people
Nintendo
know what they
really?
want? Yeah, hey,
um,
give it to them.
but I don't feel that. It's more so from the beginning, I had a vision for it and I wanted to make that and I've stuck to that. And believe me, I get a ton of stuff thrown at me of like, add this, add this. And
Mm,
Sure, I'm
mhm.
sure.
it's honestly been easier than I thought to just say no because it's like so much.
It's also
And
your game.
it's my game.
It's your
And
project.
I know it'll be better if it's finished and not just endlessly added to. Like
Yes.
I have plans for stuff like after release too. Like I want to do that, but I have other ideas I want to make too. So the goal
Yeah.
isn't to just be working on this forever and just making money off of Patreon. Like that's not why I'm doing it.
Sure,
Right.
sure, yeah.
Have you gotten like a profoundly ridiculous request? Anything that like really stands out? Like, why would you even think of that? Or like, this would never happen in a million years.
There's some unhinged stuff in the Discord that I see. There's one recently. If I'm gonna post this podcast in there, so sorry if you made this suggestion, but someone suggested Bobo racism.
Oh,
Bobo
Jesus.
racism?
Wow.
I don't even know.
Interesting.
They kind of went into it for a while. Like,
What
Like
if-
a whole manifesto on it?
this
my
mechanic is
God.
going to be played out like this. Let me.
yeah.
Wow.
I think the biggest, most common ones are one to add farming, which I hate when people say that.
That's good. Don't give in. I also
Yeah.
hate farming.
There's so many farm. I don't know why would
Yeah,
you want. And this is
dilute the
already it's already a
experience.
farming game. It's
Mhm.
if you
Right,
think about
right.
it, it's literally just a farming game too. So why would I add farming to a farming game? Anyways, and that's the biggest one that I get before people even look at the game. Like
Mhm.
Choa, it's a YouTuber that does Chao Garden stuff. He made a video about it, and like
Nice.
someone left the comment like immediately, so they didn't watch the video, and just talked about. And I see this all. This is like my biggest pet peeve. I hate it of
Mhm. people
people that don't believe you can have Chao Garden without Sonic platforming levels.
Oh,
And-
like how you?
I get the thought of like it can't possibly work, but like they didn't invent the pet sim genre. There's pet
Mhm.
sims that don't have
Yeah,
platform
yeah.
levels. So that's a big thing is people like, maybe you should add a platforming, and like the whole point of this is to not do that. And
I
get that
can't
you
feel
want it.
good about myself if there's not a platformer attached to this.
Yeah, like I get
Oh my
it.
God.
I think there's a room for that, but that's just the whole point of this
Mhm.
is for the people that did not want that. So
Yeah,
They're quite
That's
literally
completely
the
valid,
biggest one.
yeah.
That's
that is funny. Just make a whole extra game to tack onto the game, and then
Yeah.
then it'll make sense.
yeah, I just don't. That's
Yeah.
the most frustrating one.
How are they gonna get their little vials to power up?
Yeah,
There
exactly.
you
Where are they gonna find the
Green sludge.
eggs? Like,
Yeah,
dude.
I'll get people to like reply me on Twitter and ask like, so how do you get the whatever the chaos whatever, like how do
Yeah,
you get
whatever they were
anything in
called.
the
Sure,
game?
yeah.
Oh,
Let the
And
shadow show up.
and it's like I don't know, it's you make money. Like how do you make money? Like do competitions. Like I don't know.
Mhm. It's all there. It's all laid out
like
for you.
most other games.
It's like I'm forgetting. Like I think
Mhm.
people like think I'm like, oh, I didn't even think of that. Like I have this thought out. Trust me.
Mhm. Wonderful. Well, that's excellent to hear.
That's great. I still can't believe that Bobo racism. I gotta
That's-
join just to check out that.
Yeah, I got to jump in the Discord now
screen,
and,
whatever
and
that
read
is.
that. Yeah,
Don't
very
acknowledge it.
interesting.
Just observe.
Exactly, silent observer. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Any other questions from you two regarding the game currently?
Yeah.
When it comes to the music, sorry, go ahead, Nick. I can go do
No,
it
you
after.
can go.
Okay, when it comes to the music, and the person you're working with, do you typically allow them like full free reign when it comes to like hey, this is the environment. Can you make a track for it? Or do you have them make a track and then you like kind of get inspired by
Like a
that
back and
environment?
forth
How
sort
does,
of thing.
yeah, like how's the dynamic there? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of both. Like a big thing I just laid out like my idea for what I want the music, like the vibe to be. And the whole
Mhm.
the whole goal was like when you're in the Bay Area, it should be very I watch anime a lot. So there's an anime called Yuru
Sure.
Camp. It's a camping anime.
Mhm.
And the music is like just very relaxing and like acoustic. So I
Yeah.
just said like the Garden Bay should feel like that, like very relaxed. And then as you transition like closer to the competition, so then you go into the town, it's a little bit more high energy. And the competition center is like kind of this like elevator music, but it's like different than the feel of
Mhm.
in the Bay. And then in the actual competitions, I was just like do like full on like drum and bass, like
Yeah. Yeah.
breakcore type
Mhm.
stuff.
Very,
Um,
very good.
so like I kind of like I don't know music, so I just say like here's the
Okay.
vibe I'm looking for, and here's the location, and he just tries a ton of stuff, and then we pick it apart. I'm like I usually tell him to remove stuff,
Mhm.
for especially the guard like the Bay Area is like when you spend the most time. So I don't want things to be repetitive. So I'm always like
Okay.
remove this instrument, make it slower. That's
Mhm.
that's the most feedback. A lot of times he just makes something that's great. So we
Right.
just put it in.
Right on.
That's
Very
rad.
cool.
I
Yeah.
say that racing song, that's excellent. It's like straight out the Dreamcast era. Really
Yeah.
good.
Mhm.
That was kind of the goal of like
Yeah.
I don't know, throw the person off guard because it's like they've just been listening to this calming stuff and they get in and it's like high octane.
Time to
I
go.
know, it was great.
Super high energy drums. Very good though.
Yeah. Well, something like
Mm.
that'd be perfect. Yeah, I was actually wondering, you mentioned you had a 2D, someone helping with the 2D art. So with regarding the Bobos and the character models, did you design them yourself and then model it based off that, or did they hand you sort of the designs and you built the models off of it? How did the design start for the characters?
So this 2D artist is a relatively recent thing. So they first actually just made Discord like emojis for me about 2 months
Mhm.
ago. Um, and then I just liked their stuff, and they were doing a lot of fan art of Parfait, like the main character, and Bobos. So uh, they just kind of came on board and started doing some icons for like the traits, little icons when you pull up the data panel. Um, so yeah, that was like very recently. So all the other creation stuff was just yeah, I didn't even draw out the main character. I just straight up modeled it
Oh, nice.
right away.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very cool.
Very cool. Yeah.
Yes. Like
And
carving out
then
of marble.
yeah, the Bobos were kind of a combination of Alex, a partner, he did like a version of a Bobo. I posted it to Twitter. It's like just the head almost, but like flat and way back as like a baby form. And I kind of just took that and I combined it with some of the elements of a Chow and
Mhm.
did my own thing with like the little, it's called a bobber, like a little floaty hairpiece.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know, I just tried a bunch of stuff. That's honestly my rule with everything is I'll feel at some point, man, this is not going to look good. Like
Mhm.
art wise, I don't consider myself an artist still, but I just keep doing it and eventually it will look passable.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you definitely hit that point. And that's
I think so
I
too.
was gonna
Yeah.
say also, you
Yeah.
mentioned you watch a lot of anime. Is there any chance that Parfait's design took any inspiration from I think it's Aurel from Dr. Slump?
No, it didn't. I didn't. I actually, I've seen that before I uh, created her, but that was a thing that people sent me afterwards, and that was not my intention. She's definitely inspired by anime characters, but not her specifically.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I noticed that just the like hands going out to the sides when she's running around.
Yeah,
That was the first
Yeah,
thing I
that
thought
run
of.
cycle is
Yeah.
very charming.
yeah. I mean, I don't know where. I think I don't know, I thought that was cute. And it was kind of funny that people. I'm glad. I mean, it seems like a lot of people notice that and like it because of that. And I was like, oh yeah, it wasn't not my intention, but just I don't know, it's cool that it happened.
Yeah, it's those little details that give a game a soul. I think that's why people are drawn to that sort of thing.
Mm.
Probably you don't consider yourself an artist, man. The game's very aesthetically pleasing. Like it
Oh,
looks
thank you.
really good.
I think
Yeah.
yeah, it's never been my aesthetic stuff and like making stuff cohesive is just that's most time I spend is that. So it's like I feel like coding wise, the first thing I do typically is like what I wanted, and that's like how my brain thinks. But art, I just have to like trust me, like it doesn't look good the first stuff I make, and I just have to
I guess.
delete it and
Iterate.
try again and
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
keep on redoing it and eventually like all right, I like that, and I'm making it look good for myself, so I'm glad that people have been enjoying it.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, I suppose, well, looking towards the future, I know we discussed a hopeful, end of 2025 release, and you briefly mentioned post-launch support. What, if you're willing to talk about, what kind of post-launch support are we looking at there? Are you considering?
Yeah, I think the biggest things I would do, I mean, for sure I would do is just add more accessories because they're easy to make. It's
Mhm.
just time consuming, but they're not hard to make. So just stuff that I think of after release, or I'll probably do like themed packs
Like
of
packs?
stuff.
Yeah, that makes
Not
sense.
not paid, just like free
Sure,
updates
yeah,
for like
totally.
the season we're in or whatever. And then ideally it'd be really cool. It just depends on who knows what my life will be at in a year. And if like
Mhm.
I hate my life working on this game, I hope not. But
Let's hope not.
if like I'm still really enjoying adding new stuff and it's fulfilling, and it has been so far, so I don't think that's gonna happen, then I'd love to add some sort of like the best pack and update for the game would be I add a new race map, a
Mhm.
new garden that comes with it,
Mm.
a new species because they're all tied. And I guess yeah, those are the three things. Is kind of like because that's a big thing. The main objective in the game of these like sagas. It's not in the alpha, but you take on these like Bobo stars. They're like
Okay.
one-on-one competitions at the end of like
Oh, I love that. Okay.
you like 5 races in a row. It has to be the same Bobo that beats everyone, and it's
Mhm.
over the course of their life. It's
Wow.
like an E rank
Okay.
race all the way up to like whatever higher.
Yeah.
And if you defeat that one, they're different species. So you unlock like the Phantom Bobo, which is like the dark equivalent.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Great.
Okay.
And then
Wow.
with that, you unlock like the other garden. You have a Phantom Garden, and then a Phantom like it's gonna be like a lava cave like race map. So
Very cool.
Very
so,
cool.
yeah, for like updates, it would be cool. I have 4 other species planned besides this default that's in the alpha. So there's 4 other ones in the full game. But yeah, it'd be cool if I think of a 5th one. I would probably do that.
Nice.
When you
Nice.
play it yourself, do you play with controller or keyboard?
I mean, I don't play it myself.
Okay.
Like, I guess I test it. I don't.
Sure. That's I
I
guess
don't.
that's more what I'm
Yeah,
asking.
I don't play it long because I think some people do with their games. I don't think it's a bad question. I think with this kind of game, like if it was different, if it was like a platforming game, I should add platforming. What did I think of that?
Oh man.
There you go.
Dude, that would be so good in
Oh
between.
yeah.
If
Yeah,
it
maybe
was
a little mascot character.
if it was a platforming game, then it's different because it's like you could do beat levels really quickly. I probably would play it, but this is like you play it for hours. So like
Right.
I can't. So, but yeah, if I just have a controller next to me, so I usually use controller if I'm testing,
Okay.
just
Mhm.
because it feels better.
Is that, yeah, I was curious if you were optimizing it for one or the other, or if it was going to be like intended wise, because it seems seamless on controller.
Yeah, I guess if there's one intended, it would be controller, but it's
Okay.
full mouse and keyboard support
Yeah,
too.
totally
But
functional.
I think it
Right.
feels better. I think 3D platformers in general feel better with because it technically is a 3D platformer like controller.
Mhm.
So
I'm
yeah.
with you there. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Jump in everything. Yeah,
Okay.
maybe just add a little ledge out of spite. Just put nothing
Yeah.
on it. Maybe a sign that says
Like
stop
a loop to
asking me
loop
to add a
or
platformer.
something. Yeah.
There is in the Bay Area, there's a little rock step up. You can jump up to get to the top area quickly. There's some platforming in there.
There you
You can
go.
have fun with that
See?
little chunk.
There you go.
There you go.
So quit asking.
Satisfy those people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on. Right on. And then last question regarding development. And we don't have to get super in depth into this, but you mentioned, you don't want to spend your whole life developing Bobo Bay. What are, some next ideas you're keen on exploring in the future?
So I have another one that have actually a devlog of that right before this. I kind of shifted to this, but I think I'd like to go back to it. Like you said, it depends on where I'm at. Like if I don't
Mhm.
want to, then I'll have a different. I have tons of ideas, but the one I think I would do next is it's hard to explain, but I actually dreamed of this idea. Very strange, but like I had a dream of watching a trailer for this game, and I was like, I woke
Okay.
up and I wrote it down. Like I have to make this.
I want that game.
Uh,
I need to make
it
it.
it was like Avatar: The Last Airbender. Um, that's what it was in my dream. It was like an Avatar game in my dream, but it
Okay.
was like top down, not really top down, but like far back camera, and you
Mhm.
could control four characters and switch between them for like bending.
Ah,
And the
okay.
whole premise was like it takes, speaking of Gunpoint, Tom Francis' next game, Heat Signature, that he came out with, has
Mhm.
this mechanic where you can just like pause time. And the whole idea is like he wants you to pause as much as possible,
Mhm.
because you can like use as much stuff as you want from your pack at pause. So it takes inspiration from that of like on the controller, there's a dedicated slow-mo button, and you
Okay.
could slow down time and like combine their abilities. So like you have the Earthbender, and you like launch up the Firebender, switch to the Firebender, and can like slam down harder because you're in
Mhm.
the air. And I have a lot of this working. It's a decent
Very
prototype.
cool.
The
Okay.
devlog is out there,
Yeah.
and yeah, I'd like to continue that and do something with that probably.
Oh,
That'd be
wow.
great.
That's excellent.
In a weird way,
It's
it actually
very
reminds
intriguing.
me of that cut concept from BioShock Infinite, combining the plasmids, you know?
Oh
It's
man.
so distressing that that was removed. So that's exactly what I wanted from it,
Yeah,
actually.
synergizing
Combining the
by
powers.
yourself too. Yeah, that's kind of
Yeah.
a fun concept. Very cool. Very cool. And then is there anything, when you're done developing, is there anything you're looking forward to just playing? Or you're
Entire
not really
Tommy's series,
interested in that?
perhaps.
I mean, it's still games I get excited for. I think the one there's always like a game every like 2 years. I'll see a trailer and like for some reason get really excited for
Really
it, and I
gets
don't
you?
know why.
Okay.
So this one,
Special.
I don't even play these types of games like ever. But there's a game that came as it in the E3 week, whatever it's called. I don't
Hmm.
know what they call it now. The
Summer Games
Summer Games
Fest.
Fest, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot what uh event it was, but there's a game called Unbeatable coming out.
Unbeatable.
Um, it's like an anime looking rhythm game. Uh,
Oh,
but it's like a
okay.
small studio, and they did all like hand animated, like frame by frame animation. And it's like
Jeez.
the trailer looks awesome. Like I don't know, I saw the
Yeah.
trailer and something about it like hyped me up, and I'm like, I'm gonna buy that on release. And I don't
Oh,
even play these types of
yeah.
games, but
Very like Studio Trigger aesthetic.
yeah, it just looks
Nice.
really cool, and I want to support like a team like that was able
Yeah.
to achieve like a Western team that made animation look that good.
Hmm. Very
So
nice.
that one, I
Very
guess.
cool. Yeah.
Perfect.
Excellent. All right. Then I think we can move on, unless you two have any other questions, into community Q&A. Nick, Jake.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, I was looking up Unbeatable. I wanted to see
No,
the art
no worries.
style.
Yeah.
I was
Looks
curious.
cool. Looks
It
cool.
does look cool. I like the art style. It's really neat. Um, no, what are you watching right now, anime wise? Side note.
That's the thing. I don't play games much, but that's probably my biggest hobby is I like read a lot of manga and watch
Okay.
anime.
Nice.
Okay.
What are you
Yeah.
reading?
What have you been reading and watching? Yeah.
I do. I mean, right now, I guess what's the weekly? Like we watch a lot of. Me and my wife watch a lot of like weekly anime, like
Mhm.
new ones. Um, what's we have been. I guess the popular one is we've been watching One Piece the past year, catching up. So
Uh,
For sure.
That's
Me and
Jake
my
right
girlfriend
there.
do
Yeah.
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
we're on
I
like
read it weekly, and my
we're
girlfriend
on
and I
like
watch One Piece.
yeah, we're on episode like 600. We're doing One Piece right now.
Yeah, you have to do One
God
Piece.
damn.
I don't know what's up with their site.
Sounds so
Um,
enticing. So many episodes.
But other than like
Sounds like
that,
such an investment.
I watch a lot and read a lot of rom-coms.
Okay.
Oh, have
Uh,
fun.
I don't know. I love them. They make me feel good.
Yeah.
Hey,
They're
that's what's
good
important.
shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think I guess I read uh a bunch of like current ones ongoing, and also like Skip and Loafer is probably like my favorite ongoing one. it's not super popular, but
Hmm.
it's just like a slice of life that I think is written really well.
Love that.
And then I read the ReZero light novel.
Oh,
That's really good. That's one of my favorite stories. I don't know a lot. Yeah, we're watching about like I think like 6 weekly stuff right now.
That's the way to
nice.
do it with weekly for sure.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Oshi no Ko, I've really been impressed
Oh,
with.
I've heard really good things
I
about
think
that.
that, yes, the Kagi author, right?
Yeah, Kage is like my favorite manga.
Same. Our favorite anime.
Hell
Definitely
yeah.
favorite romantic comedy by far.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
really good.
heard nothing but really good things. It's on our list for sure.
It's
Me and my
shocking. It's
girlfriend.
actually very funny.
Very funny. Yeah, Oshi no Ko is. I read the manga too, but this anime adaptation is like it's so good. They're like hyping up and highlighting it's just a really great adaptation. So that's been surprisingly I wasn't that excited for season 2 as much as other stuff, but that's probably my favorite show of this season.
Sweet. So
Very
yeah, I have to
cool.
check that out.
Yeah,
Also
same.
the deer girl. Have you seen that one?
Oh,
Mm-mm.
my
Dear
dear
girl.
friend Yuta Tan or something, right?
Noko 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 Tan, I
Yeah.
think. She's just a
I've not
deer. It's
I've
weird.
not seen that one.
I've seen the thumbnail. I haven't.
It's like a stupid comedy, just like it's fourth wall breaking and stuff. It's pretty funny.
Super absurd. Well, you know, that can be fun too. Cool.
I don't know. Yeah, I just finished my girlfriend and I just finished Psyche K, which was pretty funny. There's good
Yeah, we
moments
haven't
in it.
watched that yet. That's on my list.
It's pretty good.
It's very good.
All right. Well then,
Cool.
yeah. Nick, you got anything, or shall we move into the community Q&A? Kind of close out today's episode.
Yeah, we just go into community Q&A. No need to, talk about Mahjong or anything.
I feel like we got most of the insights we were looking for. So yeah, you want to take us away, Nick? It's from your beloved fiance.
That's right. She's got quite a few questions. So actually, we kind of already answered a couple, but first of all, she wanted to know if there was any chance of adding some sort of a menu option, compare and
It's a
contrast the
question or
Bobos.
a request
Yeah, I guess also a request.
for a feature.
She wanted to know if there's a way that she could kind of compare them with each other to see like who to give which fruits and how to figure out who has the best stats for the races, if that was going to be something in the future.
Like compare them on one screen.
Like a
Probably
compendium
not.
of sorts, perhaps. Yeah. Who
I
knows?
don't think there'll be a way to view as the same just because it's pretty simple to just pet them and bring them up pretty quickly. So I don't think I'll do that.
Okay.
I'll
We'll
tell
leave
her
that
to
to the
invest in
people
some
that make
graph
the
paper.
wiki. Yeah, right?
Get a pen and paper out. Come on.
There you go.
All right, and I know that there's already animal features like the vampire cookie and things like that, but is there any chance of adding like little animals that would do the same thing, or even just like little pets for the Bobos, things like that, like a little penguin or little zombie thingy?
I don't know. I haven't thought about that. Yeah, I kind of replaced it with the crackers
Sticking
just
with
because
the
I like the snack theme of they just eat a lot. But yeah, I didn't think of it's not on the question, but it's not currently planned though.
Okay, pets are on the table, got it. All right. And what else? She already said that there's plans for a sort of phantom hell world, so that's good. She'll be glad to hear that.
Yeah, that was
And
a question.
yeah, another one. Is there going to be any customization for Parfait herself, like clothes, hair, anything, hairstyles, hats, etc.?
Yeah, so there'll be basically there's 4 seasons in the game, so she's gonna default. She like changes outfits every day, just to kind of simulate like you don't wear the same clothes every day.
Mhm.
But then yeah, you can. I don't have it made yet, but there'll be some way to basically pick and choose color schemes and make your own outfit and set the outfit for each season. Is kind of what I
Very
want
cool.
to do.
Perfect.
That's
Very
right.
good.
All right. And then, yeah, luckily, a lot of our questions are already addressed. So next up from user
Buns.
Buns in our server, she wants to know, what's your favorite Bulma design?
Like which one of the ones in there right now?
Yeah, like Dragon Ball, GT, Z, different sagas, Namek, Set L, etc.
Wait, what?
No, Bulma from Dragon Ball.
I haven't watched Dragon Ball.
Wow, really?
Fair enough.
All right.
Dang. All right, I can't even answer the one
Right.
question from Discord.
It's all
There's
good,
more.
Buns. Yeah, yeah. Well, we kind of covered challenges.
I can look it up real quick.
yeah, sure. You know what? You might just like it. People say that Toriyama guy is not too bad at drawing.
I do think we kind of did answer Bun's questions just through the interview
Yes,
itself.
yeah, the only other one is from Raccoons. Outside the Chao Garden, are there any other influences from other games that you want to try to capture or incorporate into Bobo Bay?
Yeah. I mean, I pull a lot from, I think a lot of people do now for like cozy type games, but I pull a lot from Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley.
Those
I
the
can see the
champs.
influence there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, mainly like Stardew's probably more just like the calendar
Mhm.
system. I really like a lot,
Mhm.
and I
love
wanted to
that.
put the competitions on a schedule so you could like plan ahead. And then probably the weirdest one, I've said this in my devlog, but RimWorld.
Really?
Mm,
So
okay.
mainly for the trait system that I have in my
Okay.
game.
That's
So
kind
like
of
you have like the main trait that you can see, but then you can give them an item. So like you can give them the steel chair and they can drop kick other Bobos in a race.
Love it.
Nice.
And then
that's awesome.
they have hidden traits too that you can't see. So every Bobo
Oh,
has like a negative hidden trait.
EVs and
Um,
IVs.
that I basically like I did that kind of to simulate the idea of like, if you get a pet, you can't fully
Yeah.
know all of its things. So like I like
Mhm.
this idea of someone forming that bond with this Bobo and then like they have asthma, which is a thing in the game, right? Uh so yeah, Rimworld was it's a weird thing, but I just
Awesome.
kind of the trait system in that I kind of pulled a lot from it.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it's good. It gives them
Very
that
cool.
individuality, I think.
Mhm.
I
And
know.
it leads to storytelling, sort of. Yeah, just with each individual. That's fun.
Yeah, I wanted them all to feel different. I mean, they have best friends. Like that's a thing that every Bobo has like relationship points with each other. So if you see
Mhm.
them talking to a certain one a lot, that's like a thing. Like they're actually friends. Um, but yeah, I wanted them to feel
That's fun.
unique, that's separate from just like their visuals.
Hmm. I think having those sorts of mechanics and then combined with the day by day progression, it gives a feeling of life to the world. That's I really appreciate in these
Well, I
sorts
kind
of
of
games.
the one trait I made specifically, my one friend, he has like 10,000 hours in RimWorld. He loves RimWorld. And he made me play it. That's why I kind of discovered this idea.
Mhm.
And he something about I added this trait in there. It's in the alpha, but I'm gonna add a different one too. But it's called the forager. So this Bobo can dig up snacks in the gardens every day. They'll dig up one out of the ground.
Mhm.
And a typical player might just have one around, but like I just have this envision in my head of like, well, somebody might like farm for like 50 foragers
Yeah.
and they just get like an endless supply of food and like that's awesome. And, like I want to make situations like that.
Yeah,
Very
totally.
cool.
Very nice. That's an unlikely influence. I was not expecting
Yeah,
Rimworld
no, not at all.
to be on that
Not at all.
list. Very
Yeah, I
nice.
can definitely see someone trying to metagame it and someone has like a
Mhm.
gluttonous trait or something. They eat the wrong fruit. Someone freaking out like, no, you weren't supposed to eat the sky nana. What the fuck?
Well, they have my Discord, it's nuts. It's like so you only get 28 days in the game
Yeah.
and you can basically if you like mash two of them together, they can have a kid. And right now it's you can get E or D rank in the forest. But then it's a built-in feature, but if you like full up your potential in two Bobos that are both D rank and you mash them, they can turn into a C rank, like
Mm.
the
Okay.
next level. Normally they have to like die, like evolve to turn into the next grade.
Mm.
And someone has already gotten an A rank in the demo.
Damn.
From just like they literally like said they like sat and watched anime for like 4 hours straight and just re-rolled. Started a new
Incredible.
save, deleted,
Yeah.
re-rolled just to like get the
Just to
and I'm
get
like,
the 2D.
why are you doing this? I did
Just
not.
metagaming.
It's pretty awesome. And then they're gonna try to speed run it. So like that's pretty cool. So
I was wondering, that was something that popped into my mind earlier. I didn't want to interrupt, but as far as is speed running at all in your thought process when making this game?
it's not in my thought process to like make anything specifically for it. Besides, I will put in a timer in the
That's what,
settings you
okay.
can turn
So
on.
something at
But
least
that's
like
it.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. I know that's just a very, very common thing now with indie games, especially they tailor to, because I mean, it's just a whole nother niche, right? That some
That community.
a
Yeah.
community, I should say, yeah,
Yeah.
that you never know could end up being a huge speedrunning hit.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think before, or at least the alpha, it was not. I did not think it was like something anybody would want to do that with. I just
Sure.
I couldn't really see it. But now seeing people kind of just run with
Doing
stuff,
it. Yeah.
like I'm like, oh, okay, actually I can see this being really fun to like watch and do. So
Right.
I'm definitely thinking about it more, just as like
Mhm.
an entertainment. Like I'm excited to see people try the
Yeah.
full game and stuff.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
Just wait until someone figures out a backwards long jump, Bobo long jump, whatever.
Yeah.
Right. Cover a lot of
You know.
distance there.
Aside of that, just a quick note. I'm really glad you left in the option to chuck the Bobos like
It's
crazy.
pretty funny. It was pretty
When I
good.
first tried that, I laughed my ass off.
Well, it's how you remove their accessories too. You have to throw them on a wall.
Really? I just do it
Oh,
for
that's
fun.
awesome.
Very good. All right. Well, I think that sort of brings us to the end of today's episode. Austin, thank you for coming on. This was a real
Yeah,
pleasure.
thank you.
Of course.
Mhm.
Where can viewers and listeners find the game and find you?
Where can they find me? What is my Twitter? My Twitter, it's _Austo, at
There you go.
_Austo.
Mhm.
New Future Kids too. If you looked that up, it's all one word. On YouTube, Twitter, that's like the company, and then the game, yeah, it's just Bobo Bay on Steam. Or you can also look up Bobo Bay Alpha as its own page now on Steam.
Perfect. And as always, you can find me at the Super Sammy.com on X and Nick at Somebody Stop Me. We've been Video Ditch Pod. Yeah, thank you for listening. For those of you that made it, Austin, yes, wishing you the best of luck with your development. Looking forward to the final release. Yeah, you've got a good project on your hands. So, hats off to you. Yeah.
Thanks.
Until next time, we've been Video Ditch. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you guys.